actually, and I think this is eventually the Radheshyam Prabhu's vision, to train from the very beginning the future leaders, not only for ISKCON, but for the society, for the whole society in general, for the whole world. And that's quite possible, because what I want to tell you, in the West, Western devotees are struggling so much with the anarthas, which you or your children, Indian children, even don't have. Because some piety is still there, some piety is still here. But for the Western people, oh my God, so many things we have to struggle with. And if you train the children from the early age, like from 8 to 10 years, it will be much easier for them, and it will be much better to practice Krishna consciousness. They will not face the same challenges that we're having. Okay, please read the next quote.
If economic development and material comforts would drive away one's lamentations for family, social, national, or international inequities, then Arjuna would not have said that even an unrivaled kingdom on earth, or supremacy like that of the demigods in the heavenly planets, would be unable to drive away his lamentations. The South, therefore, refusing Krishna consciousness, and that is the right path for peace and harmony. Economic development or supremacy over the world can be finished at any moment by the cataclysms of material nature. Even elevation into higher planetary situations, as men are now seeking on the moon planet, can also be finished at one stroke.
This is the unique features of Srila Prabhupada's purports. He more or less speaks about the same things in each purport. It's called the Bhashya. So he emphasizes different points, very important points. Okay, so since we are discussing interactive learning today, it would be a crime not to make this session interactive as well. Who of you has any experience with interactive learning? Please raise your hand. Okay, some of you have a little bit. Okay, those of you who don't, first of all, do not worry and do not be afraid. However, some work has to be done from your side as well. It's not, with interactive learning, it's not possible to sit through. It's one of the benefits. We will discuss it a little bit later. So let us start our practical part, and we need a volunteer who can write something on this board. Preferably, please, person with good handwriting, and also who can write fast. Yes, you can take the blue marker is fine. Okay, so those of you who are teaching and have any experience with making presentations, tell me, what are the common challenges that you are facing while teaching or making presentations? Yes, Mataji.
When we're teaching value education, I'm specifically referring to this that we have been doing the past 6 months, the discipline of the children, getting their attention.
Okay, so these are two things. Yeah, bad discipline. Can you write it down, please? Bad discipline. Okay, bad discipline, not just discipline. Bad. It's bad discipline. Yes, it's not just discipline. Bad discipline. Okay, and number 2. Am I getting it right? Number 2 is short attention span. Catching their attention. Okay. They are distracted. Thank you very much, Mataji. Okay. So, are there more challenges that we are facing during teaching? Yes, Prabhu.
There are few of them who take initiative and lead the class towards some different topic.
So they want to stray you. They some kind of troubled students. Okay. Number 3, troublesome students. Yeah, is it correct? Okay, troublesome students who carry you away. Okay, thank you. What are other challenges that we are facing? Yes.
Probably when we talk about the scriptures, when we say that Lord Ram had appeared in Treta Yuga, so it was some 9,20,000 years. So they said no, sir, mankind has evolved from apes.
Okay.
They are not ready to believe what scriptures have to say.
Okay.
So
They don't have faith in the Shastra.
yeah,
That's obvious. That's obvious. But still we have to deal with it somehow. No faith in Shastra. Okay. What are other challenges? Yes, Prabhu.
Indian, so I think it would be there globally as well, because many will come from different background, different religion. So
Okay.
if we're talking about any specific, let's say we quoting from Bhagavad Gita,
Okay.
someone from different religion may not be could relate to it.
Okay.
So
Yeah, this is a very, very powerful point. I mean, when we went to the MIT school recently for Holy Name Week program, one teacher shared with me that we have a lot of Muslim kids, and they don't want to chant this Hare Krishna. Actually, what Prabhupada has preached, he said that you can chant the names of the Lord in any tradition. So especially when we are preaching at schools, we have to be universal. I mean, if a person is a Muslim, let him chant the name of the Allah on the beads. They also have the beads with the names of Allah, no problem. If a person is a Christian, let him chant the Jesus prayer. Anyway, so the thing is, they will be exposed to the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra by hearing the others chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. You wanna learn a secret? They're gonna start chanting anyway. They're gonna start chanting the Maha Mantra anyway. That will start from the Jesus prayers or from the Allah names, but then again, because it's the most powerful names of the Lord, this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And they'll see and they will start chanting eventually. But at least we have to give them that opportunity to chant in their own spiritual tradition. Maybe not all of them will start chanting, but most of them will. Okay, so different cultural backgrounds. Yeah? Different cultural backgrounds. Please write down. Different cultural and religious backgrounds. Okay, what are other challenges that we're facing during teaching? Yes, Mataji.
When we ask them to think at the end of the day, all the activities they have done, question, they don't really believe in doing that questioning inwardly.
So you want to see some introspection in them, but it's not there. Okay, not ready to be introspective. Not ready to be introspective. Okay, thank you. One more. Okay.
They ask, how is it going to help us? What is the benefit in learning about all this?
Okay, they don't see practical application. Okay. They don't see practical application. Yes, Prabhu.
It's about the feedback, like whether they got it or not. We are never sure after from one class to the other whether they've actually got the previous thing properly. It's very difficult to get feedbacks from the children, like whether they.
I mean, they don't speak. Yes, you ask them, but they don't want to share. They don't want to open. Children are closed and they don't want to share. They want to share. Okay. Yes.
Many people think that all these things are for old age.
For the
Old age, after a certain age, after 50 or 60 years.
So you can enjoy. You can enjoy, and then when you're 60, then you can do some tapasya. Okay. Not for young kids, not for young boys. Only for the old sadhu.
To tell like this, even my own children, when they say that when we become like you or age,
Okay.
then we will involve in these things.
Okay. The spiritual practice is for old sadhus. It's for old sadhus only, and not spiritual life is for old sadhus. Okay. One more. So many challenges we have. Yes,
I
Prabhu.
think that the students think that spiritual life, when we talk about religion, whether we are from any religion, when we talk about religion, as the science has inculcated a mood that it is myth. So breaking that jinx, that it is not myth, it has happened, it's a history, it's a challenge.
So we have to fight the scientists,
Yes,
isn't
like
it? So the scientists are the gurus. Yeah, scientists are the gurus. Okay. I think I've seen another hand. Yes, Prabhu.
you're talking specifically MIT Gurukul, I think
Yeah.
there are a couple of sessions I've taken. So they come from very affluent family, and most of them are stay there within campus. What they see at home or what experiences they get outside is much different and opposite of what's been taught in the class. So just exposing them for half an hour, 1 hour
Okay.
session, and then later they get into a different sort of environment.
So there is a big gap. I mean, the value education is too short and their life is too big, and we can say it? How we can say it in a few words, in one sentence?
Theory and practical.
Yes, Prabhu?
Classroom instruction is very different from cultural environment around.
Okay, so the classes are very different from the cultural environment for him. Okay, I think that's going to be enough for the challenges, and let us address some of it. Let us discuss some of it. So, bad discipline, short attention span, troubled students, known as the clowns who want to laugh and makes other laugh, things like this. No faith in Shastra, man, that's expected. Different religious backgrounds, children are not introspective. They are closed and not sharing. They don't see the practical application of things we're doing. Spiritual life is for sadhu only, that's what they think. Scientists are gurus for them, and their experience, this short experience in class is quite different from the normal cultural environment which they are in. Okay, so thank you very much. So, I believe that most of you have graduated from school. Is that right? University? Who did the university or the college? Yeah? Okay. How can you describe at most your experience while you were studying in school and in college in one word? Huh? Louder, please. Beautiful. Oh my God! I was born in a different country. I should have been born in India. Maybe I was enjoy the college as well. Wow. Yeah. Theoretical. Okay. Only theory, no practice. Good. What else?
I feel it was a waste of time after seeing, the actual kind of education.
Waste of time. Okay. But in general, were you enjoying the process? Mathematics. Those of you who don't like mathematics, were you enjoying the mathematics? The process of teaching? You like?
Not childhood you are asking.
Yes, childhood.
Childhood I was enjoyable because there was no responsibility.
No responsibility. Do you like math?
Huh?
You like math yourself? You like mathematics?
Yes.
Oh, but you like the math. Who doesn't like the math? Raise your hand. Okay, Prabhu, was it good for you? The process of learning? No. Okay, so the point I'm making is exactly, we have to make our value education lessons completely opposite or contrary to the secular education in the terms of being in terms of the interest of the students. Do you understand what I mean? We have to make our classes amazingly interesting and relevant to them. And if the classes are relevant, it will automatically solve, because some of the challenges here are mostly on lesson planning. Let's see. So if you are planning your lesson very nicely, practical application will not be an issue, because you're immediately putting some practical things into your lesson, into your class. Okay? So it will be resolved. What else? Spiritual life is for sadhus. I mean, there are some misconceptions which we should be fighting. And for this, we will have to discuss it all together. We should gather, we should face the challenges, give feedback each other, and discuss all those things, and plan accordingly. So, I would say half of these challenges are being solved on the preparation stage. And when you have some experience, then you prepare. When you prepare a very nice lesson, and you already know the answers, and some child is saying, okay, but the scientists say, yeah, but you already know what you have to say. You already know how to break this this challenge. No, not the challenge. You understand what I mean? Yeah? How to answer his question. How to present it in a proper way. Okay. But there are some things, and we will not touch lesson planning, because it is a huge part of TTC, Teachers Training Course 1 and Teachers Training Course 2. It's a huge part, and it takes hours and hours to do this, although it's very fun and nice. However, we'll not touch it now, but we will concentrate on bad discipline, short attention span. Yeah, I will touch troubled students a little bit. Okay? Not introspective. Yeah. Not sharing, closed. Okay. because the rest are the challenges which can be resolved while planning. Okay. So let me introduce to you interactive learning. So what is interactive learning? Quite opposite to classic lecturing type of teaching, interactive learning allows much more interaction between the students and the teacher, and between students as well, creating a learning environment. Students learn not only from a teacher, but also from one another. So more or less, what we have just had is interactive learning. So I was not only speaking, you were also speaking, you were also sharing. Have you noticed some difference before and after? Before we started this class, how your attention was, how attentive you were. And now, is there any difference? Yes, what is the difference? I think you're more attentive. You're present. I can feel your attentiveness. I can feel your presence. Yeah, so and that also works for the kids. Also works for the kids as well. Okay. And there are some elements which are used in interactive learning, like the brainstorm. We just had one brainstorm here. Means I ask you some question and you give me the answers, like the challenges, for instance, which we are facing. Whole class discussion, we're going to have it a little bit later on. Group and pair work, role play, simulation, presentations, and etc. Okay. So, do you have any questions on interactive learning? What it is, the basic concept? Do you have some understanding of what it is? So in general, when the teacher is giving some class, mostly he speaks, and then at the end there are questions, yeah, and this is it. So their interaction is only when there are questions, and then maybe there is some kind of test, and this is it, no interaction. But interactive learning, that means that interaction is going on all the time in this way, not only between the students and the teacher, but also between the students. Okay. I will tell you some positive sides, some benefits of the interactive learning. It's fun, actually, for both students and the teacher. A lesson effectively planned for visual, auditory, and kinesthetic or digital people will be much more powerful. So actually the basic idea of learning or education is to give some ideas, some thoughts to the people. Or ideally to change their heart, change their behavior. Yeah? And if we want to do this, we want to address different types, because there are different people. For instance, if a person is auditory, that means he learns the most effectively by listening, by hearing. Yeah? And if you make this person watch a movie, it will be very hard for him to learn. Do you understand? And the other way around, for a visual, if he has to sit and listen all the time, 7 hours a day, like they do in the colleges here, yeah, it will be very hard for him. Okay? Kinesthetics, they learn while doing something. So for them, it's quite difficult to learn through the visual and auditory. And auditory digital is mixed. So those things are mixed. Different features of visual, auditory, and kinesthetic are mixed into the digital people. Do you understand? Have you got this experience that it's easier for you to learn while you're reading, let's say, or while you're watching something? So we can address those things. Questions going to be a little bit later. Okay. Okay. So because of this interactive learning, we can keep attention and interest very high, very high. Most of your students will remember what the program was about and will get the ideas which you wanted to share. Also, very bright emotions and memories, especially from skits, from the role play. I had this experience. I came after 1 year to some place. There I was teaching, I don't remember, some course, some Holy Name course it was, I think. Yeah, Holy Name course. And one of my ex-students, he shared with me that actually he remembers very vividly not only the idea of the skit, of the role play, but also the role play. He remembers it very vividly, although 1 year has passed. So it is really powerful. It really works. Okay. Utilizes proprietorship principle, and students are emotionally invested in learning. Have you noticed then, if somebody is asking question after the Srimad Bhagavatam class, he's listening very attentively to the answer. Do you know why? Because he asked the question. So it's very important for him. And this proprietorship principle, it is used in the corporations as well. They give you a share of the company, part of the company. Why? Why do they want to give you a part of the company? Why? Huh? So you would feel the ownership and you would work harder because it's your company. Yeah, it's your company. Same thing, it's your question, it's your thing. Let's say if you give your students a Bhagavad Gita and you ask them to find major topics, some important points of this chapter, they will work it and they will present it and they will feel this is ours. This is what we did. This is very important. We like it. We want it. We share it. We appreciate it. Yeah. Okay. Number 6, stimulates thinking and not cramming. It's impossible to sleep or sit through. Means, while if I'm asking you questions all the time, you cannot sleep and you cannot sit through. Like pretend you are not here. And do you know what cramming is?
Yes, by making gesture.
So cramming is when you need to do an exam, you need to pass an exam, let's say on mathematics. Okay? So mathematics is not a good example. I don't know what, history or philosophy.
Somebody is born on 1816 something.
Yeah. So what you do, you just dump this data, this useless data into your brain, hoping you will forget it the next day right after the exam. And this is usually what is happening. You just dump it without sleeping for a few days. You just read 1965, the year of inventing something, things like this. Will it change your heart? I really doubt so. However, so it's not required to do cramming, because the thinking and emotional investment is there. Okay, it is also good for team building. Relationship between the kids are very poor now, because if your iPhone is not of the latest model, you are not one of the best guys. You are not popular. Things like this for them. So it was really good for team building. I have seen in different yatras. I went to South Korea, and the devotees know each other for 5 years. They have come for Sunday programs every week. They're coming. But only after such sessions like this, interactive sessions on ISKCON Disciple course, they told me after that actually only because of these sessions we get to know each other. We have some feelings towards each other now. We want to serve together. We want to help each other. They want to serve each other. Things like this. So it's really good for team building as well. Encourages creativity. There are some parts of interactive learning like drawing, for instance, even for the grown-ups. They also don't be afraid. We all can draw, even if it's not that beautiful. Still, that works. Making skits, making some nice, interesting presentations. It really encourages creativity. It is also very powerful. Okay. Builds trust and give teachers some authority. Especially that is especially important if you are not a regular teacher in school and they don't know you. So in this way, it seems that you are kind of aloof, that you are not controlling directly, but at the same time you are controlling everything, and that gains trust. So eventually you will be trusted, and you will be able to speak more, and they will trust you more. Okay, do we have any questions on the pros for interactive learning, the good sides? Yes, Amal Kirtan Prabhu. It is also, first of all, it's a matter of lesson planning as well. So when you look through your activities, your parts of a lesson, you have to make sure that there are parts for all, for the auditory, for the visual people, and for kinesthetics, and for the digitals as well. that's planning. And also, interactive learning is quite. It's not a thing which you do by the draft. You have to adjust. You have to think on your feet. And if you see that what you're doing now is not really effective, you can adjust it. You can. Does it answer your question, Amal? Anyway, we will get into these details more. We're just having basic concepts here. So there are so many skills which are required. Yes, Prabhu.
Please elaborate the second point. It says lessons effectively planned for visual, auditory, kinesthetic, or digital activity. Is it illustration of that?
Yeah. So we just told that, I was just speaking about this, there are different people who learn differently. Those who are audial, they learn through hearing. So, they can also learn through other mediums, but for them, hearing is very powerful, especially. And they learn much better through hearing. Do you understand? That's the audial. There is auditory. Then there's a visual. The visual, he needs to watch. He needs to see things. The presentation, the paper, the book, something like this. So he learns the best way through this. Okay? And the kinesthetic, they're learning from movement, from action, from doing something. So for him it will be hard to learn through visual or auditory. He will learn, of course, but his most powerful learning is through action. So you engage him in some sort of a skit which will show some concepts of which you are trying to teach them. You understand? And so if you plan a lesson effectively, you can engage all those people and they will feel that they are, the lesson will be more effective. Not, let's say, the classical lecture is mostly working for the auditory people. Yeah? You understand? Mostly for the auditory people. The visuals and the kinesthetics, it's a little bit hard for them. Do you understand? Does it make sense? Okay. Yes, Prabhu.
In this visual, auditory, kinesthetic, or digital, first we have to figure it out in some of the sessions that who all are learning the visual, auditory, and different means we have to, who all are learning through different means, or we have to make our presentation in such a way that it covers all the things.
You make the presentation which is balanced, that's one thing, and then you can adjust. If you see that most of your kids are, let's say, digital or auditory, you can adjust some things. But if you plan your lesson nicely, we have said that many of the challenges can be addressed through the good strategic lesson planning. Okay? Yes, Prabhu.
I can share one idea into this.
Okay.
Like, there's one organization in Pune who are into science schooling.
Okay.
So in that, what they do from class 1 till class 10, one is
It is quite challenging to do just one session only. What you can do maybe, what is usually done, actually that solves not sharing, closed, and lacks of trust. First of all, the teacher has to introduce you. It is very important. Even with devotees. If you come into some city, people don't know you. Well, maybe if they do, they have seen some guy, walking there. I know that guy, but who is he? What he is doing? What should I listen from him? Nobody knows. So it's true even for the devotees. Somebody should introduce you, and you can make this introduction. Like when devotees are asking me about book distribution, I'm saying first you have to introduce yourself, and you have to make this introduction very interesting. Like Navina Niruddha suggested, you can say that I am a volunteer for international organization, for international movement, something like this. Volunteer means, and people respect that. Being volunteer means you're not paid for that, which is true for most of us, for all of us. Nobody pays us. So we all are volunteers for this international organization. And then he can say about something about what you are doing. I don't know what you're doing, yes. What you have graduated from the college, what you were working. So these things helps a lot. If somebody introduces you very nicely, it's very powerful. And then you can do the icebreaker. We did not do the icebreaker here because we are limited on time. But usually that's what is being done. If it is possible for you to do an icebreaker, it will build relationship between you and the students. If you have a class, let's say of 25 persons, it's going to be hard to make the icebreaker for the 25 kids, but it has to be there. You have to plan accordingly. So first, before you meet them, before you start teaching them something, first you get to know each other a little bit. So that each of them shares something, each of them says something, like what food you like the best. Oh, gulab jamun or rasagula. I don't know what kids like in school, Snickers or whatever, things like this, Yeah, there are certain guidelines on how to make good icebreakers. We're not going to be dealing with this now. Okay? Does it answer a question, Mataji? Okay, so let's not get too much into the details because this is not the topic of this presentation. We're just getting acquainted with interactive learning. Okay? Any more questions on those points that we have done? Good. Okay, so there is thesis, antithesis, and what is the third thing? Synthesis. The thesis is you say something, okay, this is it. Antithesis, somebody says no, it's completely wrong. It's not right. And the synthesis is by studying those two subjects, you combine it into one. And the synthesis actually includes both the thesis and the antithesis. There is a Vedic words for those things, the Sanskrit words. I could not find yesterday. Anyway, we should find it. It's also used in a Vedic disputes in this way. It's also used in this way. Okay, so in your handbooks there is a certain space. Can I have a handbook? Yeah. Thank you so much. There is a space for contra to interactive learning antithesis. You see there are some space which you can fill. Okay. You got it in your handbook? Okay. So now I would like you to form some groups. We have a group of ladies, 2 groups of ladies. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, and the other group is 5. And Prabhu's, okay, I would like to ask the brahmacharis to be, so each brahmachari should be a part of some group. Don't make a brahmachari group, please. I mean, that's fine, but it would be the best if every brahmachari would form a group. Okay, group number 1, 4 persons more or less, okay? 4 people. And each brahmachari should join this group. Okay, 4 people, 4 or 5 people, no problem. So what are we going to be doing? We're going to be thinking, we're going to be using constructive criticism. Have you got 2 groups? How many groups you have? Each group, please, somebody raise a hand from a group. Okay, 1, 2. You're from one group, no need to raise. I need to know how many groups we have. So please raise your hand. One representative of the group can raise his hand or her hand to see. Okay, group 1, group 2, 3. I don't understand. 4. Okay, this is group number 1. Please, okay, raise your hand. Another? No, just one person. Okay, this group. Okay, 1 person. Raise your hand. Okay, next group. Okay, 3 and 4. 4 groups of Prabhus and 2 groups of Maharajis. Okay, good. So now what are we going to be doing? For 5 minutes we're going to be discussing what could be the downsides or the contra to interactive learning. We have to criticize a little bit. I mean, we have this propensity anyway to criticize. It is there. Is it right? Yeah, it's right. Yeah, I catch myself every day. And so I hit it in my mind in this way that I'm criticizing someone. So the propensity is there. We have to utilize it. So if you find some downsides of this interactive learning, write it down there. Discuss it in a group and write it down. All of you have to share the same points while you're going to be discussing. And then one group leader should be ready to present the results. Okay? Do you have any questions on what are we going to be doing? We're going to be finding the downs. Please don't start now. Don't start now yet. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Please don't start yet. Just give me 1 minute. So, do you understand what we're going to be doing? We're going to be finding faults in interactive learning. Okay. So, if you don't have any questions, then please start. We have 5 minutes. So, write down these points. If you have any questions for me, I can raise an arm and I will come to see you. Okay, Hari Hari. The time is on. Oh, it's so engaging, eh? You can't stop now, eh? This is the power of interactive learning. Okay, Hare Krishna. Can we have your full attention, please? Okay. So what are we going to do now? Since some of the points which you have written are similar to each other, I'm sure we have people working here nicely, the brain's working. So we will do it in this way. Each group will take a share. So okay, let's say it's your turn. So you say one point, and if that point is also in your papers, you don't mention it, okay? And this way we will get only unique points, okay? And if you feel that the point, Hare Krishna Matajis, Hare Krishna, may I have your kind attention, please? So, and if you feel that this point that somebody have just made is very, very relevant and powerful, you write it down also. Or you write it down in your papers. And this way you will have the list of all the powerful points. Okay? And we will start from Prabhu's here. Okay, so get your first point.
Interactive learning consumes time, and therefore less knowledge is imparted in the limited time.
Very good. Very good point. Thank you. We're going to be talking about that in the second part of this presentation. Thank you. Okay, second group. Yeah. Discipline. Yeah. Actually, so many things can go wrong because you're giving the control to the students. Oh my God. I mean, we're going to be addressing that. If you're a good teacher, you can handle this. Okay, next group. Can you speak louder, please, Prabhu? Can we close the door, please? I cannot hear anything.
When we are interacting with young students, then their contemplative ability may not be that high. So it will be difficult for them to answer us the thinking in the right direction.
Okay. So the group can be sidetracked easily. Yeah, but if you're a good teacher, you can see those things, you can control it. Okay.
The contemplative ability, because basically when the students are very young, they may not have a good sound knowledge on the subject matter on which we have told them to interact or discuss upon.
Good.
So the contemplation will not happen in the right direction.
I see.
That's why they will not.
Because the
come up
knowledge
with
is
the
not
right-
there.
Knowledge is
Okay.
not.
It's also lesson planning. We have to plan according to our audience, to our students. Okay. Next group. What is your point?
Haribol.
There is a person in the mic
Hare
who's
Krishna.
speaking.
Yeah,
You-
it's like there are 2 points. One is
Just one for now. Just one for now. Let the others also.
okay. If the data and a factual, whatever the word, the choice of words of the teacher or the speaker or the data is not correct, then that could be counterproductive for the whole group. And many a times it can even leads to not cover the entire work in the same class. And
If the teacher says something wrong, or during the discussion, you mean?
if the teacher says something wrong, some fact data wise,
Okay.
some wrong date.
No, but
or
you have to prepare. You have to prepare very nicely. I mean,
yes, sometimes people exaggerate certain data just to
understand.
fit in, just to prove.
there is a misconception, a very, very wide misconception. Hare Krishna Matajis, are you with us? Okay, there is a misconception that for interactive learning, the teacher does not have to do anything. He can just dance and sing, and if he's good at that, he's going to do fine. Actually, you have to prepare even more, because some questions could be there which you're not planned for. You know, the lesson can take a turn not planned, so you have to prepare even more material than you have to. And if you very nicely prepared, it will not be an issue.
And that is the second point. That
Okay.
sometimes that this turning takes too long time.
Too long time.
And-
Yeah,
yeah.
the what is I mentioned? That's time. It's time consuming. It's very time consuming.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, ladies.
Only few will participate, not everybody will.
Not everybody will participate.
Then students who don't talk, even if you
Okay.
ask them to speak
Sometimes they're like just closed. They don't want to share. They don't want to share. Okay, good. What? The second group, Matajis?
Prabhuji, there will be lack of discipline because there will be some naughty children, who want to speak something out of context. And
Like the bazaar,
yeah, making fun kind
the
of.
bazaar, laughing and
And
okay.
because we are not the regular teachers,
Yeah.
they will not. It's very difficult to.
The discipline will be even worse.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Do you have some points to add?
Yes. More preparation is required.
More preparation is required. I mean, that's hardly a downside. But anyway, just one point. Just one point.
No, I have already, because I thought now everyone is given, you are asking anything which is not.
No. Just one point, and the next group. Next group.
Sometimes the class is so interactive, they really want to participate, but they feel nervous, a bit shy,
Okay.
and due to that reason,
Okay.
if the group is somebody answers, another can make fun of him,
Yeah.
but I don't want to get into the zone.
I understand. Yeah, it more or less covers the same thing. And not sharing people close. They don't want to speak. Okay. Downside?
If the group becomes too enthusiastic,
Too enthusiastic.
it's difficult to get them back. And then
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Matajis? More manpower. In what way? More teachers. Why? No, one teacher is enough. One person is enough. Okay. Yes. Yes, Mataji. Can we give the mic to the Mataji, please, so we can hear her? Yeah. Yes, please.
Children don't respect the others' views
Oh.
or others' answers.
Okay. Don't respect others' answers.
sometimes it might happen that group comes with let's say you ask them to come with a brainstorming session and present.
Okay.
So those might be very, very counterproductive or opposite of what the subject matter.
You mean they just want to do it for fun? Just for the laughs? No, just something else.
As a teacher, you would have done your lesson plan. You know that this
Yeah,
is the concept which I want to try. This is the result which I'm expecting from the group.
Yeah, I
But
see.
they come up with something else which other
Okay, I understand.
negatively influences others.
Hare Krishna Mataji, are you with us? Please listen attentively. Because Prabhu is making very interesting points. What if they say during the brainstorm something you were not prepared for? But that's again the lesson planning. I mean, and being prepared. If you're prepared, there will be no miraculous answers for you. Everything you would prepare yourself. If you know the topic very nice, no problem for you. They would not, because you sit through and you think before you go there. You think, what are they going to be saying? And it's very, very rarely, if you do this nicely, somebody says something that you did not expect. And also you have to think on your feet. But in the spiritual knowledge, if you study Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam regularly and listen to classes of your spiritual master and Srila Prabhupada, you will know most of the answers. It's not a big problem. Anyway, let me address all of the issues, all of the downsides in one sentence. Those things that you are mentioning, these are valid points. These are correct. And probably with the exception of time consuming, we're going to be dealing with time consuming a little bit later during second session if it's going to happen. But all those things are depending on the expertise of a teacher. If you are a very powerful and trained interactive teacher, for you it's not going to be a problem. And if you prepare very nicely, and if you know your subject, if not, it's not going to be a problem. Okay? It's easier to give a lecture because there is no interaction. If there is an interaction, so many things can go wrong. But if you can handle it, that really builds trust. And it's really funny, and it's really interesting, and very, very, very powerful. So I would like to end. Actually, I had some more things prepared, but I think we will do it in the next session, if the next session will be there. I mean, not today, some other time. Because one point which we have to discuss is what is the true place of this interactive learning. I will give you a little brief introduction to what we're going to speak. I mean, now do we have to make everything interactive since the attention span is short and getting shorter? We're going to discuss those points and we're going to come to a conclusion. So what is the true place of the interactive learning? Okay, I thank you very much for your kind attention and very, 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 very nice participation for your inputs and everything. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.